Good afternoon, beautiful subscribers. Facebook, how are you all? It's been a while actually since I've been online. So what am I doing? I'm going to give you some updates today, especially on what I've been working on and my group of light workers in meditation space and some of the work we've been doing for New Earth. It's really important now to be putting your attention and energies into New Earth, not what's back here in the Matrix and the old stuff. We no longer need to see or hear any of that or have access to it. It just lowers our vibrations. And one thing for sure is during these times our frequency needs to be kept at a really good vibration, a really good height. So you'll find that a lot of people are still watching the Matrix and watching the 3D psyops and the dark workers in the light community giving this information. Try and stay away from it. Try and keep your spirits up and your energy up and your frequency up. Play high frequency music when you can. What was I playing? Oh, I found a really good Enchanted Forest one on YouTube last night, and I had that going, and that was really lovely. It was really beautiful while I cleaned up after dinner and did my dishes and things like that. It was really lovely to listen to. So if you can just do searches and find some really cool stuff to listen to. So I want to give up some updates, and the first one that we did recently, I channeled a session with my Indian guide that I've had with me since birth, and he gave some beautiful messages. Actually, he gave us some really encouraging messages for New Earth and how things are going to look, and it's really lovely to see. Well, the ones that he gave for humanity and the ones that he gave for everyone to hear. Now his name's Small Feather, so he's a very tall sort of tracker Indian, North American Indian, and he has one feather at the back of his head like that, and it stands up like that, and that's why it's called Small Feather, because big is the opposite in their language to small, so Small Feather. Messages. We were talking about how the elderly with Alzheimer's and dementia are these days, and you know how they keep them very well medicated, that kind of thing, and it really concerns me that we don't need to be doing that. I feel there's something else going on there. He said absolutely. He said our memory as we get older goes back to the very first lifetimes that we had, especially as we get closer to death. And that is why you hear people talking about times once upon a time. And you can't relate to it. They'll say things to you like, oh, do you remember? And I go, I remember when Mum was diagnosed with a bit of dementia, and she'd talk about things that I had no idea about, and then I realized when he was telling me the Small Feather, I got an idea. Oh yes, that's right, they do. They talk about other lifetimes because their vision and their memory is going back to who they once were previously or further back. That is why the elderly get confused of different timelines and lifetimes, and so with their testing they get questioned, do you know what year it is, what date it is, do you know who your Prime Minister is, they ask, you know, a lot of these sort of daily questions to check their memory, but their memory isn't there, their memory is back in other lifetimes. And so their spirit speaks to them. They're connected more to source, connected more to their spirits, and that's why they do, on their deathbed, they will talk about something that's been affecting them or bothering them. They do a confession, that kind of thing, because your spirit is talking to you as you get closer to death, and it's clearing the way for you to sort of cross over. He said dementia is mistaken, as this is when spiritually they're going and moving through timelines. So that was interesting, and that was one of the ones he gave to all of us, which I felt was very important for us to remember, that when we're dealing with the elderly and they have these these issues that we try and understand what timeline they're on and where they're coming from. And then we had quiet for 2 months. Yeah, probably wasn't with you. Probably on another timeline or lifetime. Absolutely, Angel. And you know, this is what's really interesting, because I remember them doing the test. What year is it? What day is it? What month is it? That kind of thing. And if you go right back to the beginning of time, you didn't have days, months, years. You know, nothing was recorded. And so that's why they get confused. They get to a point where they think, well, what do you mean day, month, year? Okay, then we had a meditation, and this was on the 18th of April, and we went to meet with the Ascended Masters, and boy, did we get some really good information. It was really exciting stuff. And I went in thinking, oh, I'll meet with Saint Germain. He's on my team. He's always around me. He's always channeling recipes, you know, for new earth medicines, that kind of thing. And I didn't. I was quite surprised, and I met with Buddha, and he was sitting there sort of cross-legged, very happy, very smiley, had a beautiful energy and aura about him, and he told me that he'd been reincarnated twice in that role, and that fits with a story that I heard when the first Buddha died, passed over. But before he died, he put a very important document in the drawer, bottom drawer of his desk, his writing desk. Then a little boy, baby boy, was born in the town. Next thing we know, he's meant to be the next Buddha, unbehold to others. Anyway, he goes in to visit the current person sitting in that place, and he said to him, I'm Buddha. I'm reincarnated as Buddha. I'm the second Buddha. And he said, well, how do you know that? And he said, well, if you open up that bottom drawer, I put my notes and book in a secret compartment in there before I passed. And he opened up the bottom drawer of the desk, and the documents were there, all the writings. So, you know, these things are sort of starting to come out now. So he said he was reincarnated twice. Whether that story is true or not, I don't know, but he did say twice. So that fits with what I'd heard. I asked him, what can I do for New Earth? And he told me to teach the simple pleasures of life and to show the way. He said it's all about keeping it simple. Show the simple pleasures of life, everyday things. I asked about the Buddhist religion and his followers, and he stopped me there, and he said, no, it's not a religion. He said it's a faith. Don't get tied up in the matrix religion. He said it's a faith. And I said, well, how do you feel about it today? And he said it has gone too far with too many controls. It needs to go back to basics. So what they've done is they've lost sight of what the faith really is. He said, I said, what can we do about that? And he said, to show them they have become very material, to let that go. There is no such thing as wealth. Only true abundance. Wealth is greed. Life needs to be about love, enjoyment, freedom. Freedom to explore your own powers. So that was interesting. No such thing as wealth. Wealth is an entrapment. That it's about true abundance and living in that vibration. I said, do you have a message to humanity? He said, yes. He said, to be still. Go within, find your truth. We don't do that enough in these modern days. You receive guidance, wisdoms, and words of truth there. Powerful stuff, huh? Anyway, then I went over, I crossed over to Krishna, and I met with Krishna, and I've never really seen him in meditations. I used to go to the Hare Krishna Centre in Riverhead, just outside of Auckland, when they used to have open days, because I love the way they eat and the way they live in a community. And he said, hello, sister of light. I asked Krishna, how are you feeling about all that is? He said, I'm happy. Everything that is happening is for a reason. You may not understand this now, but later you will. Unfortunately, it means some may have to experience pain, but not for much longer. I said, oh, that's interesting to know. We haven't got much more to do to get to that next level. He says, no. I said, do you have a message to humanity? He said, yes, I do. To be calm, to be real, to be authentic, stay away from false prophets as they are now falling. And as I said in the beginning of this live, be very careful of the false prophet, the false light workers in the community. He said ascension is bursting of great speed now. So we're getting there, guys. I asked about his faith and his followers. He said they have it mostly right and still following the old way, the way of truth, balance, love and harmony. So the Hare Krishnas have got it right, guys. Living in their little community that they live in, and the way they support each other and love each other and grow their own food, eat only vegetarian food, organic food. It takes the whole community to raise all the children. It's just beautiful. And if you go into these communities, they have natural fabrics, you know, natural cottons, things like that that they wear. They're always happy, they're always singing, always chanting. Then I met Serapis Bay. He said, thank you for bringing your team to meet with us all today. It was needed. Thank you for the work that you are doing. And he said, I taught you well. And I said, well, what do you mean you taught me well? He said, you were with me in Atlantis in the Ascension Temple. And your role there was to arrange the flowers and put all the flowers out around the temple. And I remember being in that space in the meditation. That's where we went, and I could smell the beautiful blossoms and the flowers, and it was just overpoweringly, stunningly beautiful, if that makes sense. And he said, I taught you so well. And I said, thank you, I'm so glad you were my teacher. And he said, I want to tell you the flowers are always beautiful thanks to you and the work that you do in the Ascension Temple. So I was like, oh, okay, thanks, Serapis Bay. So they are the Ascended Masters channelings and Small Feather at the beginning. If you haven't, you have to go back and listen to that. Then we went to meet Mother Gaia, and she was telling me some really interesting stuff. I said, so how are you going? Because we know she's pregnant at the moment. She's gone back to her young version. She's ready to rebirth New Earth. So if you can imagine the pregnant Billy. And she's in the final stages. So she's in the final stages of pregnancy. So New Earth is so close because she's in her final stages of pregnancy to create this New Earth. And I said, you know, she said, this has been very painful, this period. It's been painful to many people, she said, but we are really close to the rebirth. And she said, I have serious back pain. And I said, what do you mean by back pain? She said, struggling with my back and structure of my body, my physical self, meaning Earth's physical self. She said, my back pain is the sign of structures crumbling. So as I get my back pain, the old Earth is crumbling. And I asked her, and I said to her, well, when are we looking at New Earth coming in? And I kept getting September, spring in this part of the world. And then she said the month of Orion, and the month of Orion is October. So September, October this year, you should start to see the changes for New Earth coming in. She said, you will know that I am birthing. She said the signs will be flooding of dams, of worldwide dams, water breaking loose on the land. She said, this is a sign of my waters breaking. She's going into labour. I was like, what? That so makes sense to me. So when we start seeing all this happening towards the middle of the year, and we see some waters breaking, flooding, dams, which we've seen a lot of already, she said, that's my waters breaking. I said, when can we start to see the abundance come in, and all the, you know, messages that we're getting in the matrix about the new money system, the new digital system and all that? She said 2026 is looking good. And I said, well, that makes sense, because 26 is an 8-year, which is the sign of abundance. She said changes will be complete by 2026 for people to start receiving their abundance. She said when the earth starts having many earthquakes, she said, they're my contractions. She said, when you see a lot of earthquakes happening one after the other, they're my contractions. September, October and November will be the big changes. Absolutely it will be. Yeah. Absolutely. She said, just remember, we are all one. We're all one with Source Light. We're all connected with everything. Everything in the universe is all one. We're all one. She said there's still many to leave the planet. She said a lot of them can't handle the new vibration and frequency coming in, and there'll be still a lot of people to leave. I asked about the word family, because I'm noticing a lot of people are feeling in debt to their families and sticking with the word family, that they live very unhappy lives because they're controlled by their family, or they feel they owe their family something. And she said there's a 3D matrix cabal deep state word family. She said it's to keep you enslaved. She said, and not have your true freedom and feel like you have to owe them something. She said the true word for being together and being a soul family, it doesn't mean you have to be bloodlines. She said the true word of family is tribes, and tribes are your soul family. That's who you belong to. You're very welcome, April. That came through in all my meditations I've been doing lately. I haven't been online for ages. I'm so sorry. I've just got a lot on. And also, I saw the new earth dragons, the purple dragons come in, and they're a real deep violet purple dragon, which we'll start to see as well. And I hadn't seen them before. They were really, really amazing. So I'm going to do more work on that family entrapment belief system and try and help clear that. And I will be putting a meditation together for that and an activation. And I will be working with neutralizing the diamond body, and I'll be putting some posts up about neutralizing the diamond body and how that works. And with that will come a lot of I've got a couple of drawings and a lot of information to do with that, and how our diamond bodies work to be alkaline and align with pure source light. So I've got all that to come as well, which I've been channeling and trying to download and put into some sort of format. Hi Yvonne, how are you? How's South Australia? So those updates today from my Indian guide, Small Feather, from Buddha, from Krishna and from Serapis Bay, and of course beautiful Mother Gaia. So if there's anything else you want to hear about or know about, do let me know. Always message me and I can put together something and try and work out what's really going on out there. This resonates so much with me, the messages and visions about this. I shared this out. It's valuable, very much so. Especially what Buddha said. He's not happy with the way the faith is going and how they've become very materialism and how they've got to go back to basics. That was really, really interesting, that he is not happy with the way the faith has been run in the modern day. And yet Krishna said how much beautiful is still the same, hasn't changed. The root of the faith is still there. So it's really, really important. Yet, you know, we've got these dark workers in the community, and they're saying, I don't want to mention any names, but if you see people with big YouTube channels, a lot of following behind them, a lot of it's AI, not real people, and they have a big production, and they have a proper channel, and they have people supporting them, and that you know they're fake, they're a psyop, because they've got funding thrown at them, funding to help them out. When you see someone with a small channel speaking their truth, you kind of know that's more real. And there's a lot of psyops out there to misinform you and to confuse you. So be extremely careful who you follow and listen to. Always, like Buddha said, go within, and Krishna said to stay calm. So these things are very important for you to start understanding what is really going on out there, because you will find there's other 3-letter agencies are supporting these fake light workers to misinform you. So go within, do your meditation, do your own work, don't listen to others. And I saw one big celebrity light worker out there channeling lately, and he said God isn't real, and that was like, right. If you're saying God's not real, who created this? The source, the soul. Yeah. 100%. And even what Smallfeather said about the elderly, how they're also drugged up on Alzheimer's and dementia, when in fact it's timelines. They're going back to their original spiritual self at the beginning of time, and that is why they get confused, and we should not drug them up. We should listen to their stories. We can learn so much. And for many of us in the light community, we should be going into these rest homes and sitting with these people and listening to their stories. They can tell us so much. We can learn so much. And it could trigger our memory of past lifetimes as well. So it's an important message to understand that. Any questions before I go? I just needed to give this update to you. As you can see, it's a beautiful sunny day here, blue skies, autumn. It's about 18 degrees today. The leaves are turning orange. That's a great big feijoa tree behind me. I've got a whole table here full of New Zealand feijoas. They're just stunning, just beautiful. I've got abundance all around me. This I manifested. I don't know how long I'm here for. Oh, great big bumblebee. Yes, I heard your frequency. I'm off to other parts of the world, I know that, and to do more work, but at the moment I'm just here. Yes, they're in different timelines. Oh, it's the top. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, it's quite cute. It's got 3/4 sleeves, which is just right for this time of the year. Yeah, Alzheimer's and dementia, that's exactly what it is. And before they get close to death, they actually go back to their very beginning lifetime. And that is why they do, you know, a lot of confessions and things like that on their deathbed, because they're going back. If you do have any questions on the topics here, do let me know. It's very important that we continue talking about these things and getting the true messages out, the truth and the light. None of this psyop stuff that is confusing people, misleading people, that is not what it's about. We're going into a new earth. We're creating, we're manifesting what we want, heaven on earth. We don't want any of that other rubbish. So anyway, guys, do take care. Have lots of love and enjoyment and calmness and going within. As Buddha said, you go in within, and that's where you find your knowledge, your wisdom, your words of truth. Alright, take care. I'll keep you updated as I get more information coming in. Bye for now.